Hey guys, how are you? Um, this is my first video to YouTube. I don't even know if anyone's going to watch this, and the quality is poor. But um, I'm here doing this video because I want to talk about some stuff. I want to put out some stuff that I've been thinking, that I've been struggling recently, and well, for starters, I'm in the backyard of my house, my mother's house, just say house because this is where I was born in and where I live in. I mean, I was born in the hospital, but anyway, um, I don't know what I'll talk about in this video, but I want to talk about achieving dreams first-handedly. First-handedly. Um, well, first of all, my name is Eduardo. I'm a Latino. I'm from Brazil. I'm in Brazil right now. I've never left this country. Um, and I've been struggling with achieving my dreams for a long time. During high school and during my early teenage years and late teenage years, I was struggling to find who I was, what I was aspiring to become in life. And now that I think about it, I want to become a writer, first of all. I want to write stories, I want to tell stories. And I'm doing my best. It's been nearly a year that I've been writing this fantasy story, and doing pretty good at it, really. I'm in the last 100 pages of the first draft, and then I'm gonna go for the revision, right? But there's a really, really difficult thing. Um, this feeling of self-doubt, this feeling of being scared, and of not feeling sure about your future. Um, Primarily because I had this one other dream, which was being a physicist. But when I got to college, I discovered that all this childhood dream since sixth grade that I had, it was all gone. I didn't like the college. I didn't like it. I wasn't enjoying it. I felt pretty bad in it actually. The people were nice. I wasn't happy. I wasn't glad studying. I wasn't feeling okay. I went home with thinking the buzz. I felt shitty in the buzz. I felt bad at my house, inside my house. While I was studying inside my house, I didn't feel comfortable. And it was really hard for me to let it go. It was really hard. I thought that was for me. I thought, man, I'm the physics nerd. That's for me. You know what I'm saying? That's my life. I'm gonna be a physicist. I'm gonna be a PhD in physics. I'm gonna do research. I'm gonna get a Nobel Prize maybe. And it was really hard for me to let it go. It was 6 months of struggling, half year. I ended on the second period, the second phase of college. And I ended it there, and by the time it was already like 3 months in my book, was already 3 months in, and I went for it. I went for it. I'm not stopping. I'm going. I'm struggling, but I'm going for it. But I wanna talk about how hard it is for living, in this sense. How hard it is because for old people, they don't remember how hard it was really. Remember the pain of specific moments where someone really played with them and made them suffer, but they don't remember the suffering of being quiet and in those moments of stillness. You don't remember the ordinary days. You just remember the very peak days or the very low days. You don't remember the ordinary, and that's where the most pain is because that's the most days. You struggle a lot in the worst days, of course, but since you can remember that, and since that's the thing that most um, peaks out from the normal, you can deal with that a lot. You know, you can think about that. It's the thing that you can most think about, and if you um, persevere through it, you can solve it because this is the most attractive thing for the mind. You know, despite being good or bad, it's the thing that you're gonna to most think about, and therefore you can figure it out. But ordinary things, things that you don't think about, they linger there. You know, and that's the thing that wears you down in life the most. I would say it's not being able to solve your day to day. You know, things that you keep repeating. It's not grieving for a dead family member. You solve that. It's harsh reality to lose a family member. You solve that. But day to day, man, that's you. How can you solve that? Couldn't you even begin solving that? You know. And that was my reality. I had to solve the physics. I have to get it out of me. There's this sense of the birds singing. Sorry, I have three birds in the cage. But for now, I have given up that dream. I expect to go back to it maybe 10 years from now, but not right now. Right now, I want to be a writer and I want to go to philosophy college now. And we'll see, you know, we'll see. And, well, as I was saying, old people remember things differently. They don't really, they forget how hard it is to be young, you know? And it's something that you can't really analyze from a impartial perspective because generations change. And the way it was for our parents is not the way that it is for us, you know? It never is. It never is. Things always change. But despite that, I think we gotta all try to understand our counterparts, you know, the people that created us and the people that are our children. We gotta understand them. And creating habits is so hard. You know how you create habit. You need to struggle for that for months, maybe years, to be able to do it after day in a good way, in a way that you feel proud of yourself, that you feel fulfilled. And despite that, sometimes you don't. It's not even a habit. It can't even be called a proper habit because sometimes it's not for you. How can you do something day to day and you don't feel proud of it? You know, you don't feel fulfilled. And it takes sometimes it takes a while for you to figure that out. It takes a while for you to the birds look at the birds for you to notice that. And some people never do. Some people never do figure it out, and it's painful. It's painful to see. It's painful to see people living a life, even maybe millionaire, and they don't notice that that's not for them. And then mental struggles arise, like heavy stuff. Then it can maybe even lead to suicide, you know? It's a really difficult thing to talk about and to figure it out. Because, I mean, it's your brain, it's you. If there's something inside here that's wrong, and the own system cannot figure out what's wrong with the system itself, you're gonna keep on a loop. And not until there's a sparkle of insight or you have external help, man, you're gonna keep on that spiral for a long time. For a long time. And despite me having many years ahead of me, by the way, I'm 19. I just turned 19 like 3 days ago. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. Yay. Well, despite me being so young, I feel so desperate. For no reason. I feel so desperate. I feel so overwhelmed by things. And I feel like I'm so fragile, not fragile, but I'm so sensitive. That's the correct word. I'm so sensitive to stuff, and I feel really affected by the world. Being young and being so such a creative person, I would say. I'm more affected by the world than most people, but primarily by being young. It's hard for me to deal with things. It's hard for me to deal with life, with living. I don't know how to do it properly. It's all new for me. Living is new for me, and I have so many things I want to do, and there's so many things I don't know if I want to do. I never thought about, and I always feel stuck. I always feel stuck. I always feel like I'm not enjoying the most of things. That I'm doing the best I can, but I am. I am because for me to notice that I needed to do these things that I do today, I needed to go through all that pain, and that pain had meaning because I gave it meaning. And even though for a time I fooled myself into thinking that I didn't know anything and that all that pain didn't matter, I just needed to pick myself up and give it a meaning. And then all that pain mattered. The thing is, there's a moment in which so much time has passed that that doesn't matter anymore. And then you figure out that you have fooled yourself. Now, I'm not gonna be that man. And I don't think you are going to be that man. And I don't think you are going to be that human being. Okay? I don't think that you are going to be that human being. Because I really have faith in this generation that we are. The called Z generation or whatever. Well, to label it is to minimize its potential. So I don't label it. It's different people. How could I label many people in a single stripe? I can't. Different people. You have to know them. You have to know. You gotta go out, have friends. You can't label this generation, but I think it's gonna be the best generation because art, knowledge, that's it. It might take a while. It might have really bad people like every generation had, but people are figuring out how to deal with life, and we are gonna solve this thing. We're gonna conquer our dreams. Gonna do art. You're gonna do some stuff. And I feel really proud to be living in this world that I'm living today. Because, man, imagine growing up and noticing everything changing around you. Like cars becoming other cars, and buildings becoming other buildings, and art becoming other art, and culture becoming other culture. Like, let's say the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Like 20 years passing, and remember the times that it was. You remember how it was. You notice how it is today, and you look at the side. Maybe you have children. Maybe you have your fiance you've been with for 10 years. I feel really proud for that possibility. And I put some effort today for that reality to become true. Even though I don't have many friends today, and I don't even know who those people are. But I know they are out there, and I'm gonna know them if I become a better person. And here's the stuff about these. Here's the stuff about these commentary videos. Unedited commentary videos. These therapy videos, if you may. People think that if you watch them, you're gonna see someone much wiser than you, and someone much. Oh, sorry, I got to sneeze. Oh, finally, all right. They think you're gonna see someone so much wiser than you and has so much more knowledge of life than you that you need to learn from them and then live your life based on some opinions they have. That you just having it figured out as much as they do, you know? That's what I feel, at least with those videos. I feel those people have things figured out that I don't. But it's not like that. It's not like that. We all have thoughts, and our overthinking drowns the good thoughts. That's the first thing. The second thing is low self-esteem. You think your thoughts aren't worthy, which they are, you know? You just need to listen to them and get some stuff thrown away. Like, oh man, I'm using too much internet. I'm using too much Instagram. Yeah, cut that out. You know, you need to think a little bit more. You need to stay alone with yourself a little bit more and give attention to your thoughts. Even if you don't like them, you put yourself through it so much that you start to like them. You start to liking your creativity and your ability to create, right? Well, anyway, the thing is, we don't know much more than you know. We don't know much more than you know. The thing is, we try to tell ourselves the truth. And when the time is right, we put it out and we don't lie to ourselves. And, well, that's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Really. You have your own wisdom, and that's just yours. Just like I have mine. But, you have to listen to it so you can find what person you want to become, and after you do, you go for it. Yeah, yeah. And another thing is that when you're down, when you're feeling sad, there is no way you can think straight. Don't even try. You get to doing something that makes you relax, that makes you fine with yourself so you can think properly later. When you're feeling down, the only thing I can think that is positive when I'm down is this. It has passed before, it will now. That's the only good thing I can think when I'm down. When I'm down, I'm really down. I'm so sensitive that when I'm down, I'm really down. And you know what this means, you know? You already felt it. When I'm down, I'm bad. I'm really down. Either I want to punch people, or I want to punch myself, or I want to punch things around, or I want to crawl, cry, and be like a baby in my bed, you know? All fetus-like or something. You need to stay calm, and it will all solve itself, you know? If you can, talk to someone. Your mothers, your friends, someone you can trust. And don't think you don't have anyone, because you do. You always have someone you can count on. Alright? Now, it might even be a stranger. It might even be a stranger. You might even put this on Reddit. You might even put things out on Reddit and talk with online friends. But you have someone you can talk to. Right? And there are things we can't talk to anybody. And I know how this is. I don't know if women have this so much, you know. I don't know if they have go through these absurd traumas. I think they do. I won't say they don't. But there are certain ego in men that we stop and feel afraid of telling, and we feel this need to carry the burden all along our lives. And I've become better at telling my burdens to other people, but there are things that I won't tell. I simply won't tell. There's so sketchy situations that happen to me that I think I have to figure them out myself. Instead of blaming them on the person that caused them, I blame on myself. Because if I blame on myself, I can solve it, and I can become a better man by solving it, you know? And you just put the problem that the other person caused, you put the other person away from your mind. They're not a part of your life anymore. Even if they are, you just put it out. You don't do that. It's bad for you. You're quitting a bad habit, like smoking, like drinking. It's bad for you. I don't do any of those. I don't do drugs. I don't do nothing because I want to carry my burden as the man I am. And I will never do any drugs like that, just as I will never keep on revisiting those thoughts about that person which caused me bad. You see? And well, you get your head straight so you can have good thoughts, so you can create again, so you can do art, so you can go to work or something. And then that's your better your better version. It's all you, by the way. When you're down, that's you also. So respect that person because that's a part of you. Not better, not worse, but you. Point. Dot. That's it. Respect that person. Don't treat them bad. It's fine. It really is. Well, I think that's what I wanted to talk about dreams and stuff. Well, I've been reading this manga called Drifting Dragons. Really good. It's really good. Like I'm just part that there's this old gangster, this old guard dude that he's like really sick and finds dragons and jumps on them. And then like he goes for this last adventure with his old disciple, and they go and to hunt dragons. It's really sick. Um, what I felt with it is that um, I really I really wanted that feeling of adventure. That you have your bro and you're just doing stuff like all day long, and you sleep on the same place and you wake up to do things all day long. I've never had a trip like that. Never in my life I went just a trip with the bros. Because well, I don't have money. I live in Brazil, so my parents cannot give me money because they don't have enough money for that. And well, I don't have a car. Right. So I never have a trip with the bros. And the bros are busy. The bros can't go anywhere. They're always busy. They're always locked in. But I felt really good reading that manga. I felt really good. And uh, it's this thing about devouring. I think it's the second best virtue of humanity. Aristotle said the first best virtue is contemplation because if you contemplate, you can think about it and solve it, right? You can solve your problems if you contemplate. You can rationalize and go step to step. Oh, what I'm doing wrong? How do I solve this? What I do after, and so on. The second one I would say is devouring. What I mean by this? Let's say you had a girlfriend when you were 14 or 12 or 10, whatever, and she presented you, she showed you this song, this really good song, and it had a kind of beat to it, a kind of melody to it, and you were really into that. You might have been lying, of course, to attract her and to show that you cared, but eventually, when you two broke up because you were basically kids, you kept listening to that song and you discovered that you really liked it. You know? You really liked it. And whenever you listen to that song again, you will remember them. So you realize that you've just devoured a part of that person in a good way. In a good way. It's weird to say this, but you've just acquired a part of another person, and it's you now. Isn't this marvelous? What, you broke up with your ex? This bad thing happened, you broke up. Oh man. But wasn't it nice that she gave you this opportunity of being human and experiencing a little relationship? Wasn't it? It was. It was. There's this song you love that you wouldn't possibly have known that existed if it was not for her or if it was not for him, right? So you gotta be proud of living. You gotta be proud that you had that opportunity. And when you do miss their arms, their smell, their touch, the way they talk, the way they smile, the way they laughed, when you miss that, you remember that it was all for a reason. Everyone says this, but it was all for a reason. What is the reason? I don't know. Whatever happens in life after that, whatever reason you give to life after that, whatever meaning you give. Understand this. Giving a meaning to life comes after experiencing life. You need to be able to see the trees before you can think about the trees and think of what trees are. You need to experience what it is to be a human in a primal animal way before you can use this ability called logical thinking. Humans are not logical animals. They are animals capable of logic. Merely. That's all there is to it. So, if you think all the time, the only thing you have to think is thoughts. You won't be living. You'll be just a thinking head. Thinking heads don't live, they just think. But that was a really good manga. It is a really good manga. I'm still reading it. It's really good. It's basically a crew that hunts dragons. It's really dope. Alright? This video was short. It's my first video. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going with the vibe. And I'll change the scenario. This is a very ugly. This is the best I could manage for now. I really wanted to record this video right away. You know, I've been feeling down these days lately. I hope you enjoyed it, despite the bad quality, despite my troublesome English. You know. Goodbye.